Actually, cost centers that we'll use are these, and these will fall in these categories. Assessment, of course, based on certain criteria, uh, we do assessment. And the criteria is that cost center cafeteria is used by other cost centers through number of employees. This is the numbering criteria, counting criteria. And that counting criteria is called statistical key figure. Now, these are the figures. Statistical key is this, and the figures are this. So cafeteria charges are to be allocated based on number of employees using assessment. Cost center cafeteria itself has 5 employees. Okay. Periodic reposting, it is for simplifying FI postings. We use cost collecting cost center, which is common cost center. We can use posts like rent, electricity charges to collect a cost center during that period. At the end of the period, we allocate all these charges to production cost centers using allocation method periodic reposting. So one is assessment, other is allocation. Rent is to be allocated based on percentage. Electricity is to be allocated based on number of units. So SKF over here is units, and the figures will be given. Electric units will be the figures, the statistical key, the figures will be number of units. So cost collector will collect all the cost, and based on the percentage, it will be recorded. Distribution. Cost center plant admin takes care of 3 production cost centers. Costs like salaries of admin, stationary charges, vehicle maintenance, travel expenses are recorded in cost center. So one cost center plant admin. At the period end, we allocate all cost to 3 production cost centers using allocation method distribution. So we have assessment, allocation, and distribution. Salaries is to allocate based on number of employees. Number of employees in receiver cost center. Receiver cost center is the cost center that uses the services. Stationary charges, maintenance, traveling are to be allocated based on percentage. Receiving cost center is this. Source or sender is this. Salaries is based on this. Is number of employees. Stationary charges, vehicle maintenance, traveling expenses based on multiple percentages. Indirect activity allocation. What is this? Cost center quality control gives quality check service to 3 production cost centers. Activity type testing is hours. How many hours have been put to be allocated to 3 production centers? And quantity of testing hours allocated based on number of tested items. In these hours, how many tested items were passed or tested in the quality control. Allocated activity type is test hours, and allocation basis is test items. So allocation method uses indirect activity. How indirect? Because we're using hours, and in that hours we have multiple items for the cost centers. Okay, so we have 2 criterias: test items and activity type. SKF and activity type hours. Okay. So test hours will be total like 24 hours. In that, tested items will be like 11, 4, 3, and based on that, those hours will be allocated to, and those hours will be marked. So based on test item, which is not a direct item, but we want to allocate hours, test hours to the receiving cost. Every hour will be paid. Direct activity allocation is cost center plant maintenance gives maintenance service to 3 production cost centers. Activity type hours is allocated to three production cost centers. Actual quantity of maintenance is recorded in receiving cost center where services are consumed. Allocated activity is maintenance hours. Allocation method is direct activity allocation. Allocation by assessment using SKF. Statistical key and its figures is used as basis to allocate cost from one cost center to other. If total number of employees is 300 in all three cost centers, cafeteria charges are shared between three cost centers based on number of employees. Okay. So cost recorded cost center cafeteria will be like this: cost center cafeteria. It will capture salaries and rent, and it will calculate the cost captured. Formula used of allocation is number of employees by total into total amount. Number of employees per cost center by total of employees into total amount. Cost allocation for cost 101 is this. So calculation of cafeteria will be sending amount. Sending amount is 18,000, 6,048, and total is 72. It is sending from here, that's why it is minus. And secondary cost element is supervising the allocation. So it is secondary, not primary. Primary is connected with GL. So the receiver will receive this and it will have these costs reflecting. Summary will be of these transactions is there will be a sender and the posted amounts will be shown over here: 4527 minus 18,648. Okay, so these were the salaries, these were the rent: 4527, 4527, and these were the sent amounts through this secondary cost center, through secondary cost element, through to this receiving cost center. So in allocation you can see the summary. You can see the summary. Okay, the allocated amounts are also seen. And total, of course, is given here. Based on this, okay. OKKS, what was our controlling area? What was our controlling area? Any ideas?
Hello.